Hello, this is Dr. George Hanchett. I'm looking forward to get started with EDCI577, evaluating training programs. But first, I would like to introduce, I am co-teaching this with Dr. Nilfer Korkmaz, and she will be doing office hours from Tuesday and Wednesday from 2 to 4. This leaves me open to do office hours, what I like to call on demand. So if you need something real quick, feel free to text me. If I can reply, I will. You can still feel free to email me or anything else, but I'm very easy to get a hold of. Oftentimes, a quick text can save you many hours of waiting for a response from an email till I'm able to see that. That's kind of unique for this term. So I hope it works out well. Something that I'm going to try out. And like our little trailer says, feel free to make a mistake. This may not work. It may work well. I don't know, but we're going to give it a try. And so let's go ahead and jump in and let's start talking about uh, our class. We'll get into detail later, but just know for now that evaluating training programs and evaluating learning are two different things. Evaluating whether a learner learned or not can be a part of the evaluation of the entire training program, but it's just a piece of it. So we're going to read the Kirkpatrick textbook talking about evaluation, part of a 10-step process, and then reasons for evaluating. And take a moment to think about, why would you evaluate a training program? Well, it's going to come down to money quite often. Is it meeting a certain need? Is it creating capital? Is it taking away capital? Is it keeping us in good graces with, certifying officials like federal governments and things like that? My time with the Skunk Works, we had a lot of mandatory training that we had to do. We had to monitor and everything else. Safety training comes to mind really quickly. We're also going to read the Kirkpatrick training on trial, pages 1 through 3. This is actually an interesting read because we're going to be talking about training and value and things like that. So one thing when it comes to evaluating training is think of it in terms of how valuable it is. What value does it offer? And we're also going to read the Fitzpatrick, Sanders, and Worthen book, chapter 1, evaluation basic purposes. And in here, they give some nice definitions. And the primary purpose of research, I'm sorry, I was just reading it, talks about evaluation, and it gives a good definition because you need that solid definition prior to starting anything else. So we're going to dive into this. I'm going to do a live session on live session on Thursday, and we'll dive deeper into this. I'll also post another video specifically on certain topics throughout the week. So let's jump into our discussions really quick. Sorry, I got to exit out of that. Let's jump into our discussions. First one, introductions. Jump in, get to know each other. Mine's right here. I went ahead and put a short, quick video in to introduce myself, interactive. I want to try a lot of interactive stuff, see how well it works. In our discussions now, what's kind of key is we're going to have 2 this week. So notice we have discussion 1, what is evaluation? And make sure you read the directions because we have a scenario going here. And then week 2, why evaluate a learning product? Why do we care? Why should we care? Why should leadership care? Why should anybody care about the learning product? Well, that's what we need to be able to articulate very well. We need to be short, we need to be succinct, and we need to be able to articulate why our learning product is of value. And I've had to do that with my time at Skunkworks, Lockheed Martin, time and time again, because they're always looking at ways to cut funding, try this, try that, do this, do that. Well, you have to be able to articulate value, and you have to be able to show the value. So that's what I see as a primary purpose of the evaluating a learning product, showing the value. And there's many different ways of doing that. So it's not always just money, but money is a part of it. And we're going to talk about ROI towards the end of our class as well. And then we have project 1. Let's jump to assignments, if I may. On project 1, this is kind of neat because you are going to be a consultant, and you're going to be consulting on a JetBlue product, or a case study, I should say, what to evaluate. So you're going to go through and you're actually going to build the evaluation. It's due in week 2. So my suggestion is go ahead and jump in and get started by midweek of this week. You should have a good firm grasp kind of on the direction that we're going to be going. And you can always, the rubric here, Oops. Let's go ahead and open up that rubric. And it's coming. It's very detailed, so it gives you everything that you need to know, documents, styles, and everything else, overview, grading considerations, why is it important. So take a moment, read this, and look at specifically the points, description of program, explanation of need. Now, a trick that I used to always use is the points in the rubric. Uh, I would tie them to one of the headings for the paper in the paper. So you would see framework would be one of the headings, and you can have subheadings underneath that if required. But that's just a way so you can make sure that all the parts and pieces are done. So that's just one thing that I used to do. And there's also these fantastic examples right here, along with other resources as well. So right here, you have your example of JetBlue One. And in the example, it's not perfect. There are little idiosyncrasies and a couple errors in it, but it's just an example of what is a decent paper, what's a good paper. So I look forward to talking to everybody in the discussion forums. And just remember that the discussions are where we get together and we use our social learning and collaborative learning skills. So it's just so important to get in and gain as much as we can from there. I'll be active in there. Dr. Korkmaz will be active in there as well. And we look forward to seeing you online. And let's get started.